Go ahead. Hey, look, it's another visual novel. Isn't that great? But no, actually, this is Sounds of Her Love. You can get this on Steam for free, so I actually really recommend this one too. Um, it's a it's fairly uh generic in terms of its plot and story, but I like it good enough to. I don't know. It's good. um, anyway, we'll get started. Oh, my name. How? I'll just put that. Something is ringing. I'm gonna try to get the mouse out of the way. Why won't it stop? My hand limply reaches out towards the noise. Oops. But I can't seem to locate it. Ugh. Must be here. Must be around here somewhere. I sense something rigid at my fingertips. Suddenly, I hear a loud crash beside me. The ringing stops. Ah. Forcing myself upright, and an intense light greets my eyes. Beside me stands a hazy figure I can't make out. Do you mind not making so much noise in the morning? Your sister is still asleep. As I adjust my, as my eyes adjust to the light, I see my mother standing beside me. Oh, excuse me, guys. I look downwards and see my table lying on the floor, my alarm clock just next to it, broken into pieces. I'm not cleaning that up. Just get ready for school and come downstairs. I made breakfast. My mother walks off. I don't think she's particularly happy. Well, I doubt many parents will be with their children creating such a ruckus. Still, it wasn't my fault. I was half asleep for crying out loud. I pry myself away from the bed sheets and pick up the table and the broken alarm clock off the floor. I check what the clock once read, and it concludes it's almost 7 a.m. Almost 7 a.m. Fuck. Unfortunately, today is Monday, so it's back to school with me. Although it's cliche, I'm not really looking forward to it. I think I might configure something. Sorry, guys. Do that. So far, nothing out of the ordinary has happened. I'm very sorry, guys. I'm still trying to figure out stuff. Though I can't really expect life to be like that. This isn't a manga after all. Because it's an anime. I open my drawers. I pull out my uniform. It's still as good as new. I haven't had much time to wear it in. I've only been here a week. Oh my gosh, my voice keeps changing. For an international school, the uniform is quite generic. I was expecting something more prestigious. I guess this is still Japan after all. You know, I've lived here all my life. My mother was dead set on sending me here. She's not a native, so she at least wanted me to connect with her side of the family. Despite her premise that getting in touch with my Anglican heritage was a good idea, the school isn't even English, it's Welsh. I'm pretty sure that's the country north of England? I don't think there's much difference anyway. Cough, cough, it's actually east of England. After finishing doing up my blazer, I hear a shout from downstairs. Son, your breakfast will go cold at this rate. You might as well let me have yours if you're going to waste it. I don't think Wales is east, is it? I don't know. Letting out a sigh, I close the door to my room and head to join my parents. Reaching the dining room, my mother and father greet me with warm smiles. Maybe not so much my mother. I still think she's pretty pissed. My father gives an empty chair, a haughty slap, still smiling all the while. Sit down, my son. We have a hefty breakfast your mother would approve of. Of course I would. I made it after all. In front of me sits a traditional English breakfast. Eggs, toast, beans, sausages, and the like. I don't think I can eat all this. All of this. The empty chair is pulled out from beside me. I guess my sister finally woke up. When it comes to the mornings, she's not very talkative, or noticeable to say the least. I'm sure she'll fire up later though. Ah yes, my beautiful family has gathered at last. My sister acknowledges my father with a quick glance and starts eating her breakfast in silence. Tell me, Paul, how are your studies? Was that hefty fee worth it? The school is private and teaches a foreign curriculum, so tuition fees are quite large. Luckily, my father can pay for it, and it's only for my final year. It's going okay. The initial buzz of it wore off after the third day. I guess it's like a normal school. Not much different from the ones here in Japan. I did have an experience at a traditional Japanese high school, but due to our relocation to Tokyo, I had to transfer. But there is one noticeable comparison. It's the students. Most of them aren't natives, and a lot more are quite full of themselves. Even I'm only half Japanese. Really? That much for a normal school? What's the point with that fee then? You want our son to have the best education possible, right? That, and he's closer to my side of the family. Reasonable. Tell me this though, son. Have you been speaking to any girls at least? Are you really asking him that? Both my parents engage in a stare-off. Things like this happen all the time. But this is only a bit of a banter. Oh crap. Checking the clock on the wall, I realize I'm a bit behind schedule. I give my family a farewell and head towards the door. Wait, that clock is... I hear my sister say something just as I leave, though she doesn't chase after me to tell me. It was strange to hear her at this time of day, but I guess I can't fret about it now. I continue on a journey I'm only just getting used to. The street leading to the school is particularly empty. Only a couple of locals are walking by, and the number of students is quite low. Checking my watch, I realized I had left considerably early. I guess the clock at home was a bit fast. A faint noise distracts me from my wrist. Ahead of me is a female student, presumably from my school, picking up the contents of her bag off the floor. I guess she dropped it. I consider helping her, but by the time I move my feet towards her, she has already finished and continues onward towards school. She rubs the back of her head and her braids sway softly in the wind. I can't even speak. Just as I pass where she was standing, I notice a small card on the floor. Instinctively, I pick it up. In my hands is a library card of what I assume to be her name on it. Ceridwen. Considering this is a Welsh school, I guess that's the origin of her name. I look up and she is nowhere in sight. Oh, crap. Quickly sending myself off, I run towards the entrance to the school. I just hope I can catch up to her. It doesn't take me long to get her in my sight. I call out to her. Ceridwen, you dropped this. Ceridwen turns around, flustered, and I approach her with a ragged breath. Here, you go.
Thank you.
She gives me a shy response as I hand her back the card.
How did you know my name?
It doesn't look like she's very comfortable with talking to me. It's on the card.
Oh. It's pronounced Carrie, like a K.
Sorry, my bad.
Don't worry.
Carrie still looks rather uneasy. I guess some people just aren't that fluent in socializing with others. Well, it's a good thing that you got it back. We're both pretty early, so it would have taken a while for someone else to find it. By then, they probably would have given it into the lost and found.
Thank you.
She thanks me again, and her eyes are reverted slightly away from my direction.
This card is important to me.
Maybe put it in a safer place? You wouldn't risk losing it then. I know I don't have the right to tell her what to do with her stuff, but things like this are common sense. Oh crap.
I use it a lot. It's easier for me to reach it quickly.
I guess she's an avid book fan? She must be quite smart. That, or she just likes books. I decided to continue the conversation. I'm gonna choose this one. What sort of books are you interested in? Fiction or non-fiction?
I read a variety.
Well, that was a short answer.
I want to study literature.
She looks at me as if she expects me to belittle her, though I completely deny her expectations. Sounds great. It's good to have something you're passionate about. Her lips move. I guess she can't stop herself from smiling. Moving my feet again, I set off towards the entrance of the school, turning around to face Carrie before I make any sufficient progress. It's still early, but we should still go to class. It's a bit cold after all.
You're right. I need to check what class I'm in.
She doesn't know what class she's in? School started a week ago. Don't tell me she has amnesia. Carrie shyly passes me and head towards the school, and I follow suit, heading towards my class. I guess she was a pretty interesting person. Classes are well underway, and the class is filled with a widespread sense of lethargy. It is a Monday after all, and lunch is just around the corner. Does anyone really want to learn about the structure of the inner mitochondrial membrane right before lunch? I lean back in my chair and stare down at my notes, which are just a little more than scribbles on a sparse page. In the end, I can't really say I expected anything different when transferring here. After all, the basic principles of teaching are the same wherever you are. There's no reason as to why the school would be any different. Though the extra language lessons are a pain in the ass. Just as I let out a small but definitely noticeable yawn, the teacher glares sharply in my direction. Bored, are you, Paul? No, sir. Oh? That's a surprise. How about you answer the question at the bottom of page 3 then? I looked at the closed book on my desk and realized what the teacher is referring to. I definitely haven't done a good job at pertaining to work. Still, I oblige and turn to page 3. Moving my eyes towards the bottom of the page, I find a question that's somewhat relevant to what I managed to hear during the lesson. What is the space between the two mitochondrial membranes called? Is that the matrix? No, that's the bit inside. Well, boy, do you have an answer? Oh dear. So it's either this one. Oh, what this one? I'll choose this. Looking across to the opposite page, I spot a diagram of a mitochondrion with a nicely labeled arrow showing me the answer. Intermembrane space, sir. The confidence in my voice, or more likely, the fact that I got the answer right seems to have left my teacher surprised. Ah, well done, Paul. I guess you were paying attention after all. I certainly wasn't. The teacher continues on with the lesson, leaving me to lean back in my chair once again. This time I'll try not to yawn. Soon enough, class ends, and I trail behind a mass gathering to exit the room. The crowd slowly shifts. The class only has about 30 people in it anyway. I stagger behind the other students residing in the corridor and make my way to the cafeteria. Chatter radiates from the swaths of people in the cafeteria. I weave my way through those standing around and people walking in the opposite direction. The line is long as always. Unlike most schools, the food here is actually quite good, so naturally it's in high demand. Oh, excuse me. I joined this queue of students left famished by the morning lessons. Time shows as the line slowly inches forward. All of this for a sandwich? I know, mate. The lush, aren't they? Made of 100% Welsh beef. I'm totally ripping them off. Sorry, guys. That's what they say anyway. I find it hard to believe they would import that stuff to Japan. Just for this one school. Eventually, I'm the one gazing at what's on offer at the counter. To be honest, that guy was right. The beef here sure is lush. It's quite a prestigious school. I buy the sandwich and stuff it into my bag. This place is quite packed, so I doubt I'd find a place to sit down. Just as I'm about to leave, I spot a table that's actually empty. Well, almost. I noticed someone familiar eating by herself. It's that girl from earlier. Carrie, wasn't it? I wonder if I should approach her. I hardly know her, but I kind of want to sit down. It's cold outside. I'll approach her, because I kind of like her. Okay, that's weird. That's weird. You know what? I may as well approach her. She's alone after all. I've been in that situation plenty of times this past week. I know how it feels. One step at a time, I make my way over to the table. Oh, excuse me. Her silky braids gently rest by her sides, and unlike before, her braids only move due to her actions. As I draw closer, she takes notice of my presence and directs her head towards me. She hesitates to speak, but I plan on taking the initiative from the beginning. Hi, Carrie. It's me, from earlier. I don't think I ever got a chance to introduce myself. I try my best to avoid sounding nervous. Walking up to a girl sitting by herself is pretty noticeable to everyone else in the hall. My name is Paul.
Hello. Thanks for earlier.
She is still pretty on edge. Perhaps I should just apologize to her and make a quick retreat. I'm sorry for walking up to you so suddenly.
Don't worry. I don't normally have people to eat with, so I'm glad.
She abruptly stops speaking after giving me a sign of gratitude. Her cheeks turn a rosy shade of red, and she directs her eyes away from me. I guess she's embarrassed. It did strike me as odd as to why she's alone. Aside from her lack of self-confidence, she seems like a fairly nice person.
I had an illness.
She goes straight onto why she's so alone. I never asked her, but I'm glad she thinks of me as close enough to. Uh, but I'm glad that she thinks me as close enough to her to explain it to me, even though we've just met. Though, given that she seems so introverted, maybe I am the only person that is.
For a while, I was immobilized. As recently as last week.
Was that why she told me earlier? That she needed to find out what class she was in? Her face continues to grow deeper shades of red. Maybe I should converse with her to ease her explanation. Though of her personality, I don't know if they'll actually help. I can understand, I guess. I'm new here, so I don't really have anyone to eat with. It's not really as relatable as an illness, though. I kind of regret opening my mouth. Hers, though, continues moving as her lips gently let out her unstable speech patterns.
I've been here since last year.
That's actually a pretty sad thought. If she's been here this long, how come she's this alone? Even with an illness, you'd expect her friends would still speak to her afterwards. Though, I am making assumptions. For all I know, she could be a good friend. She could be a good friend with a classmate that just doesn't eat in school or is absent. My gut feeling goes with my former conclusion, in spite of that idea. She delicately twirls the hair at the tip of her braid, nervously during the lag times of our conversation. I can't really think of anything to say, so I decide to do something instead. It's bold, but I tear a sheet of paper from one of my books and scribble my phone number on it. If you ever need anyone to keep you company, then you can call me anytime. Or if you see me around school, just say hi. I doubt she'll do it. I doubt she'll do either, anyway. To downplay the forwardness of my actions, I think of the cheesiest quote I can and continue speaking. Birds of a feather flock together. I think I did that wrong.
You're giving me your number?
Though her voice is quiet, I can still sense she's a bit shaken up. I thought giving it to her would be acceptable in this day and age. People are practically dependent on their phones now. Still, giving your phone number to someone of the opposite sex will probably remain direct for years to come.
Thank you.
For some reason, she thanks me. Her pale fingers reach out towards her bag and she gently takes out a rather pink and cute-looking phone. I don't know anyone still used phone straps, but a daffodil charm swings in the air as she enters my number, her body shaking slightly all the while.
You're the first in the non-relative section.
Finishing her sentence with a smile, she gazes at me. I smile back, of course, which in itself takes me a bit of courage. But her eyes quickly dart away to break our state of eye contact. She goes red again, and her mouth is slightly ajar, leaving her lips to glisten as the sunlight enters from the windows beside us. The chimes of the bell resonate throughout the classroom. I guess it's time to get prepared to go to class again. Carrie stands and shyly looks towards me, as if expecting me to say something, which, luckily for her, I do. I enjoy speaking to her, even if she doesn't say very much. Like I said, feel free to contact me anytime. Though right now, I guess we should head back to class.
Okay.
She trots along by my side, slightly behind me. Probably to keep her blushing face hidden, I guess. She seems to have a habit of going red. We part ways when I reach my classroom, with her giving me a hardly audible farewell once we do. gosh, my mouse has been this entire time. The wooden chair behind my back is rigid and sticks into me, causing slight discomfort. I think we're gonna stop it right here. I hope you guys enjoyed this first part of this new series on this new visual novel. I do plan to branch out into other genres. I don't know. Yeah, the main reason why I'm doing visual novels is mainly because my laptop can't take playing and recording at the same time for some stupid reason. But I really like visual novels, so it's a good thing that I can actually play them. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. It's a pretty quality generic one in my opinion. Anyway, till the next video, bye bye.